So the question is, are celebrities who came out against Harvey Weinstein now considered hypocrites because they go along with Woody Allen? There was a piece written in the LA Times by Dylan Farrow. Dylan Farrow is the daughter of Mia Farrow and Woody Allen, who maintains the story that her father molested her to the point where she says it's not disputed, it's not a he said, she said. If you look at what happened, there was a court-ordered separation where Woody Allen wasn't granted custody. He was forced to get therapy for his behavior. Like, it was really something that happened. She wrote in the LA Times, why is it that Harvey Weinstein and other accused celebrities have been cast out by Hollywood, while Allen recently secured a multi-million-dollar distribution deal with Amazon, greenlit by former Amazon Studios executive Roy Price, before he was suspended himself over sexual misconduct allegations. She then goes on to point out specific actors and actresses, so she's naming names. She says, on Weinstein, she says, who is this first person? This is Kate Winslet, who said about Weinstein, the fact that these women are starting to speak out about the gross misconduct of one of our most important and well-regarded film producers is incredibly brave and has been deeply shocking to hear. But when it comes to Woody Allen, here's what she has said. I didn't know Woody, and this is on working with him on a film, and I don't know anything about that family. As the actor in the film, you just have to step away and say, I don't know anything really, and whether any of it is true or false, having thought it all through, you put it to one side and just work with the person. Woody Allen is an incredible director. We have other quotes from Blake Lively, who worked with him, who said about Weinstein, it's important that we focus on humanity in general and say this is unacceptable. But on Woody Allen, she says it's very dangerous to factor in things you don't know anything about. I could only know my experience. And then Greta Gerwig, who's working with him, who said it's heartbreaking and I think it's overdue. But when she's talking about Allen instead of Weinstein, she says, I think I'm living in that space of fear of being worried about how I talk about it and what I say. She still chose to work with him. What do you guys think? Are people hypocrites for going along with Woody Allen?
It seems as so. I mean, that's obviously, I think we said this before when we talked about the unspoken code in Hollywood, right? So with why some people were not really talking about Weinstein's allegations at first because they were friends with him. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes. I think some of these actresses, Kate Winslet especially, was really shocking for me because I always held her to the regard of being someone that was more upstanding. I mean, I don't know her personally, but just from what she presents to us publicly, I thought that Kate Winslet was maybe had more, I don't know, good nature than that. But it does seem very hypocritical, Brett, because it's black and white, especially. And then also I want to say that Dylan Farrow has been giving the same account of what happened to her for more than 25 years. It hasn't wavered, it hasn't changed.
Her story has been corroborated by I believe
three people,
3 adults that were at
people who saw.
Yeah, that were happening there that day when the assault went down.
So why do people work with Woody Allen?
Well, he's legendary.
This is right, but so is Harvey Weinstein. I think what it is and what it came down to for me when I was reading the op-ed, and I'm not sure, this is just my experience, was there are so many inaccuracies that have been sort of reported about the Dylan Farrow versus Woody Allen accounts that we've just sort of accepted as like, well, it's a he said, she said. And I wasn't aware until I read the op-ed and went to all the links that she provided. There's another great breakdown of The Hive, basically saying the facts about Dylan Farrow versus Woody Allen, like what do we know about this? And I had always, I always remembered hearing that Woody Allen had gone into the steps of the court and said, well, there was this panel, and the panel had decided that it was Mia Farrow turned my daughter against me and had been poisoning her mind and blah, blah, blah. And then you read the facts and the panel never even examined or questioned Dylan or spoke to her about her own account. So there's so much that we sort of accepted as like, well, it seems like the family resolved it. It was a family dispute. And then when in this piece specifically in her op-ed, she really breaks down like, you guys have a lot of misinformation and we need to be holding a lot of these people accountable and make sure that you have all the facts. If you're gonna go to bat for Woody Allen, make sure that you go to bat on what the facts are with regards to my allegations against him.
And she couldn't, and I think I read somewhere too that they couldn't talk to her because she was a child back then. So they didn't want to put her in the publicly of being a child victim, I guess. I think that's what I read somewhere. I think it's phenomenal that Dylan Farrow has avenues like the LA Times and these other major far-reaching outlets that she's able to tell her story too. Because when you read anything from Dylan Farrow in regards to this, you can see and hear, and not see, you can so much sense and hear a sense of not desperation is not the word I'm looking for, but there's an urgency there.
Yeah, it's
there's
exasperation.
Exactly.
It's like at this point, it's been going on for 30 years.
Yeah.
We're 20 years that this has happened. So what do we do? What am I supposed to do about Woody Allen?
I mean, I always say in all these different situations where we're talking about sexual assault is you have to get the garbage people out of Hollywood. And I think the only way to do that is for people like Kate Winslet and Blake Lively to not say one is okay and one is not. Like it all has to be equally as bad, and we all have to treat these people equally as far as not letting them work in Hollywood and not letting them, kind of slip under the rug with the things that they've been doing. And I think it's especially sad as a woman to see another woman be like, well, I don't actually know all the facts, which
That's what
essentially
it
you're
is.
saying, I don't really believe you.
Well, that's just sticking your head in the sand. It's
Yeah.
like, well, the facts are out there, Grace.
Yeah,
Didn't
the
know
facts
the
are
facts. She
there.
went and clicked through. Just click through.
That's literally what it was. I wasn't sure. I'd heard in 2013 that Dylan Farrow came out, and I'm not sure. Like it probably was with regards to public opinion had not swayed that way, where I hadn't really had to call into question my own biases in this. So I didn't do enough digging. I was like,
Right.
oh well, this is what she says. That's really scary. This is what. Well, he denies the whole thing. Well, that's end of thought process
Right.
there.
And he's still making a movie a
Right.
year.
After-
And
Yep.
everyone in those movies is now complicit. And you get away with what you've gotten away with.
I think it goes on back to what I was talking about an unspoken code, because the question was Woody Allen, why do people still work with Woody Allen? Well, let's put aside the allegation, but creatively, he's phenomenal, right? And so a lot of these people, I don't know if their teams are saying, listen, you want to have a Woody Allen credit somewhere in your career for whatever, maybe for Oscar contention, whatever. But I agree with you. Blake Lively, especially for me too, was like, wow, Serena van der Woodsen. But Selena Gomez,
Mrs. Reynolds.
Yeah,
it's like there has to be
Miley
other
Cyrus.
conversations.
A lot of people have sort of have decided not to address it. I think Greta Gerwig's statement was very telling, because she was like, I just don't want to touch this.
It's different. It's a different approach than other people's. I think hers was like, I'm aware that this is strange, but she still went through with it. I think it's a more specific ask about Woody Allen than it is about Harvey Weinstein. It's like, I don't want to be in a Weinstein movie. No one says I want to be in a Harvey Weinstein movie. They want to be in a Tarantino movie.
Right.
They want to be in a Woody Allen movie. And then it's where the rubber hits the road in their opinion of all that makes it more difficult. There are people who have come out, like Susan Sarandon, who says she's not working with Woody Allen.
Jessica Chastain as well.
Chastain,
Yeah.
love it. So more like that.